Darkcast Network. Out of the shadows comes the best of indie podcasts.
Welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast, where two lifelong horror fans talk all things horror. Pour yourself your favorite drink and hang out. Here are your hosts, Josh and Jake.
Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's exciting episode, what movie are we going to be discussing, sir?
We are discussing 2024's Maxxxine, directed by Ty West.
Ooh, the final of the X trilogy. Coming to you on the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm excited to get into this one. I was excited to watch it. Thank you for coming to see it with me in the movie theater.
Of course.
We saw this on Sunday. You guys will be hearing this on Thursday. We're recording this on Tuesday. So we have a couple days in between when we saw it and when we are covering it. But it was a pretty good movie. Before we get into this episode, what would we like to let anyone new or haven't done yet know?
You can always like and subscribe on YouTube.
Grow those numbers for us.
Also listen to us on Spotify.
We're on there.
As well as Apple.
We're on there as well.
You can also interact with us on Instagram.
Yep.
J Squared Horror Podcast. Link tree in the bio. New episodes every Thursday.
Every single Thursday, too. Lifelong horror fans decide to get together, drink, and talk all things horror. With this podcast, we like being a communication-based podcast where we like to involve our fans.
We're going to invite you and involve you.
Invite and involve any content creators, any authors, any directors, anything like that to the conversation with the J Squared Horror Podcast. If you at all would like, Jesus, I'm fucking this intro up. If you would at all like to be a part of the J Squared Horror Podcast, you can always go to www.jsquaredhorrorpodcast.com. You can find easily clickable buttons to navigate to either request an episode, to be on an episode live and in person, or to do an episode via StreamYard. What I'd also like to mention real quickly is we are a part of the Darkcast Network. Dude, I'm fucking this intro up. The Darkcast Network is an independent podcasting network about strange, paranormal, true crime, and now horror podcasts. So if you want to check out some other podcasts, please go to darkcastnetwork.com or check out Darkcast Network on Instagram. Jake, how did you feel about the new outline, the new structure last week?
Our new organized format.
Yeah.
I liked it.
You want to try it again this week?
Let's do it again.
Fuck yeah.
Let's do it better than we got through the intro.
Dude, I fucked that up so much. People, their average view duration this week will be 17 seconds.
Although I love the 0.2 second clap. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was like, I wonder if it'll even come through. We'll find out. Yes, Maxxxine, starring the ever beautiful and amazing actress Mia Goth. It also has Kevin Bacon. It has the dude from the Watcher TV show. It's got another chick that plays a lot of cops. It's got Carlo, who fucking killed it in this movie. I didn't even know he was in it. I was so...
Yeah, I don't think you see him in the trailer or anything, yeah.
His fucking hairdo, he's so 80s. What a badass character.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll let you get us started off with what's one of your likes, man? What'd you enjoy a lot about this movie?
I love the 80s scenery.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed that.
It's one of the best looking 80s sceneries I've seen in quite some time.
I think I enjoy each character to an extent.
Yeah.
Like Detective Torres.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
That's
him.
the dude from The Watcher.
I loved Maxxxine, obviously.
Yeah.
Even like the side character, like the girl she interacts with, who is an actress in the movie she's a part of too.
Halsey?
No, Halsey was the other.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Speaking of which, she should have got more time.
Yeah, dude, I was thinking the exact same thing.
I'm like, damn, dude, it's Halsey.
It's like Halsey just has a New York accent, 32 seconds, and cut.
And we're done.
Good job, Halsey. You brought the fans in.
All right.
Yeah.
And to get the fuck out of here.
And die. This movie is heavily centric around late 80s and the Night Stalker. So for anybody that could find us from Darkcast, true crime shit right here. Night Stalker was a serial killer in the 80s that was just brutally killing people for no reason. And you find out that even actresses can be caught and killed in this here fine film. One of the things that I liked is, Mia Goth, man. Can't speak highly enough on her. Not her looks. They're great. But she is a phenomenal actress. If you look at each movie and the characters we get from each movie, she kills it.
I saw she's a producer on this movie, too.
Yeah. I think she was a producer on Pearl, too.
Was she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think she's a force to be reckoned with. She's done some other cool stuff. I didn't like Infinity Pool. I'm not saying it's because of her acting. I'm saying it's because of the movie itself. But you see her and you get excited for a movie. I feel like even in that audition scene, like, do you think it's hard to be acting and then acting as you're acting?
No, because you're just acting.
It's all the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though
You're playing a character that's now playing another character.
yeah, but you're still playing a character.
Yeah.
So it's almost just, what's like Inception?
It's a job inside of a job.
Yeah. The pacing was very good, I felt like, up until you got towards the end.
Yeah.
But at no point was I bored at all.
No, I will say these movies keep you entertained.
They do.
And they're shot so well. They don't look bad. They don't look corny. All the death sequences are solid. The few you get in this one. Well, I guess I'm not going to get into my complaint yet. We got to wait a little bit.
Yeah. Also when it comes to how it looks.
Yeah.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's not like Stranger Things 80s.
Yeah.
It's not like the super like played out, overdone view of the 80s.
Yeah. It's not happy. It's
Yeah.
not bubbly.
No.
It's not coming of age. It's kind of the opposite. It shows the grungier side of the 80s.
Yeah.
Especially Hollywood. You get it a little bit in the screams of the 90s. But it is interesting to see the 80s because that's a booming time. And the one thing that I like is like the paid homages to horror in this movie. Because it's not the most horror specific, and we'll get into that later, but what they do well is like there's a scene where Mia Goth, Maxxxine, goes into a video store where her friend works and is like explaining how she's going to be the next Jamie Lee Curtis. And you're like, oh, look at that. That's cool. And she says a couple other characters too. And I'm like, oh, that's rad.
So my first thought that came to mind was, so in this universe,
Yeah.
all these movies exist.
All of them. Yeah.
Psycho,
Yeah,
Halloween,
Psycho, Halloween.
which means Friday the 13th also exists as well.
Yeah.
And Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So just like a parallel, where there's a real Kevin Bacon out there
Yeah.
that hasn't.
It's
This
that
is
guy's
like-
twin.
It's like right after Footloose, this movie comes out.
Yeah.
So,
But that guy's not Kevin Bacon.
True.
It's Kevin Bacon playing a guy,
I know,
which is
which is also
more Inception.
I know.
It's it's actor and acting and movie and job. Dun dun dun.
But I did like that them because the 80s,
Horror was booming.
yeah. So at
Booming.
that point, a lot of actors, getting their first start in horror.
But also, like, would you know?
Would you know what?
Fucking Halloween came out in 78. We don't know that Jamie Lee Curtis becomes a massive movie star by 89, do we?
Well, I feel like
Did she boom that quickly?
in horror, yeah.
Because she's talking about the switch over. She's talking about going from I guess she's just using horror as her platform.
Yeah, because after
Which
that,
Jamie Lee Curtis did because
Yeah.
she did so many movies.
yeah, in a quick time span.
Yeah,
in the early
in like
80s, yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
It's just like, or even 10 years. Just like movie. You knew her name.
Yeah, you knew
And that's all
exactly who
Maxxxine
she was,
wanted. Are you surprised by the growth that Maxxxine had from X to this in a decade?
yeah. No. I personally didn't see any growth. You saw growth?
Well, just, not necessarily growth, just change in character, I guess. I said growth. That's not the right word.
No, I feel like it just showed. It's just that type of experience is going to harden a person in a way.
Yeah.
But I feel like the person that she was wanting to be famous, she was that person in X.
Yeah.
She's still the same person. Now,
She's just not as bubbly because of what she went
through. She's just now
Yeah.
more focused that this has to happen. Like you said on the last episode, because she sees what it's like.
Yeah, you
if
see
it
what
doesn't
happens
work
if
out.
it doesn't work
Yeah.
out. And you know from your trauma, you're now teetering on that. Like, you know, I imagine you could almost see yourself becoming Pearl the entire time because you've just lost all your marbles.
Yeah.
And you're just so downtrodden that you could kill a group of young adults for being everything you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that does carry through this movie because like even the way she drives, it's such a minor detail, but it's just like she's on a mission. She don't give a fuck about nothing in her way.
Only her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like little details that I feel like are really, if you pay attention to her character, it's just good. The way she leaves X in the truck, it's like the same tenacity she still has.
Yeah.
She's made it. Not to the level she wants. She's a huge porn star.
Yeah.
People know her name. So, like, partially you're like, I mean, you kind of, what you wanted. But not to the extent of, like, superstardom.
Yeah.
Because every dude in this movie
Knew exactly
makes
what she was.
a sly comment about it.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, yeah, you are Maxxxine. And you're like, you gross boy.
The guy said, yeah. By the way, I love your work.
Who?
When she pulls up to the set,
Yeah.
she's talking to the guy with the headset on.
Yeah.
And so he fills her in about the director and just do what she said, yada, yada, yada. He walks off, comes right back and says, by the way, I love your work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's moments, the security guard at the thing when she pulls up,
Oh, yeah.
she doesn't need no ID or nothing. Oh, I know who you are.
Yeah.
The cop. He's
Maxxxine means.
fucking
Yeah, you are.
Detective who? Torres?
Yeah.
Fucking, he's great. What a great use of a side character that doesn't matter at all.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, for the first time in a long time, I guess X was a good example of it too, where I was like, I really fucked with all the characters in the movie. Once again, like, Pearl is different. Pearl, you kind of know it's not going to go well for a lot of those people.
Yeah.
So you don't have to invest a lot of time into them. But Torres, it's just like how he's like a failed actor that's a detective, but he keeps like overdoing it like every time. And his female cop companion is like, dude, what are you didn't like that scene? Like I loved, there were like so many like little bromances and friendships in this movie, like such subtle details that make you like, oh yeah, I like all these characters so far.
Yeah, the two detectives were good.
They were solid. Like they could have their own series.
Yeah.
Like,
That first interaction when they
fucking
talked to her,
hilarious.
and she goes, "I see why that didn't work out for
Yeah.
you."
You're like, what? You didn't like it? And then later on, he says it again.
He pours it on so fast.
He's so mean. Like,
He's
just
very aggressive,
So
yeah.
aggressive. So 80s cop. Just late 80s
I
cop.
love their second time. He like walks super close to her,
Yeah.
starts like screaming
Yeah.
at her. What do you know?
And the lady cop's just like, this isn't going
Damn
to
it,
work.
we were so fucking close.
We had her on the ropes, man. All right, I love those characters.
Yeah, I did too. And the guy from the movie store,
Leon.
I liked him too.
Dude, he is every bit of a minor character. He's Maxxine's friend who doesn't make her feel uncomfortable by only wanting sex in the friendship.
Yeah.
And he's just like this rad punk rock, big, like punk vest. You know, I'm a weak man for studs and punk vests.
Yeah.
Works at a VHS store, knows everything.
Yeah.
The smartest motherfucker. Like, I imagine that's what movie stores were like in the 80s, and I'm so bummed that, like, by the time we were going into Blockbuster, they were just like kids like us working at a Blockbuster that were just like, there's the fucking movies.
Yeah. But the interview process for Blockbuster was pretty much like that.
Yeah.
When I went for it, I stood in line. He asked me one favorite movie. I had to explain why that was my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And where it was at in the store.
Yeah.
So you had like no stuff.
You did have to know stuff.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Josh that was at my Blockbuster over in Kemps River.
Uh-huh.
It's not like a mattress store or some shit right there by the IHOP. And that dude was great. he would always tell you like kind of those BC horror movies,
Yeah.
or even like not even horror, like just other movies when you're just like, I'm kind of in this. Like you tell him the mood, and he would direct you. Like here, go here, and you get like 5 VHS DVDs and be like, I'm out this bitch. You got me, $34.99. Let's go.
But the good thing was, just like in X, they built up each character enough.
Yep.
To where when they do die,
you're like, no.
You are like, damn.
They don't waste a lot of like. It's not one of those ones where the movie runs away with them. No. Where like in some other movies, you have 10 minutes of character building, just them, like the 2 cops. Like they're. If this was a shittily done horror movie, we would have followed them for like a scene or 2. Yeah. Versus them being with Maxxxine, fucking it up or doing it well. And then they don't have to be seen again until the next time they're around Maxxxine.
And that's the best thing. I just mentioned that. Every minor character, when they're introduced, and their main thing is always with Maxxxine.
Yes, she is the star of the movie. Yeah. She is the whole point in this franchise. And I know it's Mia Goth. And like a content creator said earlier, like, can you imagine how hard it was for them to see Mia Goth's performance and think to yourself, like, fuck, I got to keep up with it? They did. Yeah. Every single person in this movie did. From the fucking people walking down the street to Kevin Bacon. Everyone in between did a great job. From, you know, it could, like you said, that small little scene with the helper that like he runs off, comes back and says what he said. Like it's little things like that that just like further, you're just like you're fully invested. You're not just like, I don't care what happens. You care about mostly everyone, even the shitty characters. Yeah. How are they going to go? When are they going to go? What are they going to do? She is probably one of the greatest examples of Final Girl in the fact that like, unlike Sidney Prescott or even, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, they're weak after what they go through. They're always like downtrodden and exhausted and scared of everything. Like won't answer the phone or like won't do this. She goes toe to toe. Let's talk about the most gruesome scene in the entire movie. A random guy in like mime makeup follows her down an alley. She's like, oh, they locked the gate. Shit. Turns around. Retreats, but just to get him close enough to where she now has the advantage. Yeah. And just terrifies this poor little man. And then humiliates this poor little man. And then does the entire male audience of the movie that we went to see grimaced and oohed and all of our legs were crossed. Yeah. Every single dude
at the same time.
At the exact same time. So she makes this guy, puts a gun in his mouth, makes him strip naked, lay down, his little nuts are laying behind his tushy, and she fucking heel stomps him, dude. Ooh. The most brutal. It showed like a little splatter, but man, even a guy right to the left of us was like, how all the guys doing in here? And I was like, fucking bad. It was bad. Got a nice little laugh out of the crowd. Broke the tension a little bit. It was properly done in our movie theater. It was painful. For nothing. Like that character didn't matter at all. It was done to where like it's not grotesque in the fact that like it didn't have to show it, but you know exactly what happened.
Yeah, it shows you enough.
It's like a little bit of red and then it cuts out. And you're like, literally every guy in there had his legs crossed and was moaning. Yeah. Or groaning. It was it was a very painful scene.
So
which is horror 101. Yeah. Let's just compare it to fucking violent nature. In a violent fucking nature. The yoga kill. This 5-minute irrelevant fucking nut shot was done so much better than this iconic kill that was done in a movie that sucked.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
So what were your thoughts on Kevin Bacon's character?
I think Kevin Bacon did a good job. I do not think it had to be Kevin Bacon in order for it to have come across, but it was fine seeing him in there.
I totally agree. The character itself was fine.
It's an easily playable character.
Yeah, like mentioned before, it could have been just a character actor.
Like you said, yes, a character. I stole I stole the answer from you, like literally. When we left the movie theater on Sunday, I pocketed that one in the back of the brain, so I could sound cool and smart for once. Yeah, I was fine with it being Kevin, because Kevin Bacon. We don't think Kevin Bacon's all that.
Yeah.
In a basket of ham or whatever the fucking saying is. But it was nice seeing Kevin Bacon back in horror, and he played the character very well. Am I happy that it was Kevin Bacon? Absolutely. Did it matter? No. Not one bit.
I agree fully, yeah.
He did a phenomenal job.
The character was...
If Carlo didn't do such a good job, is that how you say it? Am I saying his name right?
I think it's
Carlo. If he didn't do... I don't feel like I would have enjoyed somebody in Carlo's role as much as I could have seen somebody else as that PI.
I agree.
I feel like Carlo, his look, his voice, his facial, everything was perfect. Carlo's a phenomenal actor. Way better than Kevin Bacon. Doesn't get talked about as much as Kevin Bacon.
Like sleazy bad guys.
Sleazy bad guys, yeah.
He's very good at that.
But he plays a good sleazy bad guy in this movie.
It was clear that his character genuinely cared for Maxxxine.
It's the opposite of what you were expecting.
Yeah.
Because you see him, and it's like, it's funny, even with just the phone calls. It's like, I'm now transferring you. Like, the phone's ringing, and it's the assistant being like, I'm now transferring you to this person. Like, you called me. Like, I didn't call you to get transferred. Like, it's just like little, like he knows his place. He knows what he brings. But when it comes to Maxxxine, that's his baby boo. He sees it and knows it and is willing to do fucking anything to keep his girl safe.
Yeah.
It's the father figure she needed versus what we found out at the end of X, the father that she had.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I just right here, right now, picked up on that. But it's everything that she needed in a protector that she didn't get from Wayne. She didn't get from Daddy. She didn't get from anybody, even Leon, unfortunately. Nobody else did it like my boy Carlo.
Leon did the best that he could.
Leon was a great character. Leon only died because Mia Goth beat the shit out of Kevin Bacon. That's the only fucking reason Leon died. It was blood for blood. That's it. That's why he was in the car and was like, damn, I didn't know you were willing to get your hands so dirty. Because Kevin Bacon's character should have been the one to get him.
Yeah.
That doesn't help the mysterious character's arc at all. The people he was picking was for a specific reason.
Yeah.
This guy had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. This
was because Maxxxine beat the shit out of Kevin Bacon's character with the keys when he was following her.
Which was very unexpected.
Shocking.
She walked out those fucking keys.
She looked in her thing and said, that does look like him. And what a cool scene. She gets out, and in your head, you're like, she doesn't have, then puts the keys through her knuckles, and you're like, oh, shit.
It just
doesn't even, she's like, fuck you. And just like beats the shit out of him for a second. It's like, don't keep following me. I'll fuck you up. Pulls off. Little details in this movie, man. I got to say, Ty West might be one of the greatest story writers and directors that is currently going. With the time, we'll get to this at the end. There's one little tidbit that I'll mention at the end. Don't let me forget about this that I don't appreciate about Ty, but his movies look a certain way. There's such small details that all matter. Oh, it's good. It's good.
I do love good details.
It's the little things that nuance people can pick up on.
Yeah.
People that have followed this series or people that enjoy certain aspects of horror get their we literally get our jollies off about this little shit.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that we can talk about forever. In all three of his movies. But this one did. With it being not as horror-esque, it still did a damn fine job.
It's not, you said it's not horror-esque, but I do love they do tie in just blatant just horror right
Blatant horror references save this movie.
Yeah, take them to the base motel set and all that stuff.
Yeah. She hides in it when Kevin Bacon's character's chasing after her. And then our fucking security guard saves the day. Little things, dude. Little fucking things. He I don't know why she didn't pop out and be like, hey, he's trying to kill me. But because he would have protected her. But
I feel like Kevin Bacon would have killed that security guard.
Right then and there, yeah.
Right then and there.
Yeah. I thought he was going to still.
I did too.
When she came out and he kind of looked back, I thought he was about to get popped in the head.
And turned looking like, I'm still coming for you.
This ain't scaring me off. Yeah.
It ain't over yet. Little did he know.
Your end is coming soon.
Yeah, very soon.
So another is Kevin Bacon's demise.
Yeah.
And that leads up to a lot of the points we kind of just talked about, where people that you have seen Maxxxine interact with, one being a director kind of guy of porn, I imagine, kind of like a protector guy. He was the big buff guy with the dogs. He was seen when she comes in.
Oh, yeah.
And he's shooting that scene. They had her back tenfold because she lures Kevin Bacon because she knows that he's going to follow her. So she gets ready to fucking party. This is the epitome of an 80s party. Cocaine, flashy lights, and crazy makeup. And she lures him outside, and he takes a pole to the back of the head, falls right to his fucking face.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was cool. And then
that was a very good fall.
That was a great fall.
Yeah.
The head kind of does a bounce.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the little details of this movie. You could tell he was out fucking cold because his body is limp and just bop. And then he wakes up in his car in a car compactor. Unlike Halloween Ends, what a great utilization of a car compactor. Or I know his was like a shredder, but there is Carlo's character, Maxxxine, and this other guy standing there, not trying to get answers out of him.
At all.
At all. And I said this when I left the movie, and I'm happy you were like, no, you fucking idiot. I said I wish he would have given them more information. That's not what they were there for.
No.
They had all the information they needed.
We're to end this right now.
You're going to die.
That's it.
I don't care what you have to say. Your life is over. And they smush him in a car compactor. Him screaming for mercy. He even says it, I'm buyable. And it's just like, what a great PI. Like, that's exactly who his character was.
And then he prays really quick, too.
Said he was an atheist.
Yeah.
Earlier on in the movie, and it comes up two more times.
A couple of times. Yeah.
Comes up two more times before he's saying the Lord's Prayer while getting his car getting compacted with him in it. No regret, no remorse. Blood is oozing out of this car.
And they tell her, get out of here.
Leave. You don't need to see the rest of this.
We'll clean it up.
Round of applause for those guys.
Sends the dogs out there.
Yeah. Licking up the goop.
Yep.
Ugh. Even then, a unanimous uncomfortableness in the theater.
Yeah.
Not much. Nuts and dogs eating brain matter. Those two really got us. Got the people we were sitting around. Also, cool note, almost sold out theater. The only seats that were open that I was aware of were the very front ones, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Our row was kind of empty, but it was cool to see on a Sunday, at 8 o'clock. Good fucking movie.
How about, is there anything else that you liked?
I'm sure there's a billion things that I liked.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of like the top things that I liked. Leon's death was pretty fucking cool too. That's the most that we got in this entire movie. Not quite sure.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's someone who you see was emotionally closest to Maxxxine.
Yes. And they knew that would hurt her the most out of everybody else. And it's crazy that it's only because of her actions.
Yeah, because
that's my take on it. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. That's
when they wheel his body out. And
the cop,
for whatever reason,
just fucking lifts the blanket in front of a crowd of people because Mia Goth or Maxxine's out there. I'm like, this is the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen from a horror cop, and that says a lot.
That's something I would expect Torres to do.
Torres would have done. The girl is making eye contact with her, just staring at her and like,
lifts her right up.
This is your friend, is it not? What I will say about that kill sequence that I loved, every wound looked amazing. And it's like, shit you don't typically see. The first cut is the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Garrody.
They wait for him to turn around and get him in the stomach or something.
Neck. Then they slice his eye. All of it looks so good, and then obviously they go to town on him. Blood splatters on the VHSs. It's kind of like the headlight scene. I loved everything that they did setting it up. Where like instead of showing the knife going into him a bunch, it would cut to blood splatter on the VHSs, which is important because his character loved VHSs so much, and they were getting ruined by his blood.
Yeah, it was good.
Solid.
Definitely a solid scene.
Dislikes.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay, dislikes.
Start us off, buddy.
This whole storyline with Maxxine's father.
Oh, we're getting right to it.
Did not like that.
Nope.
Made no sense. Made it pretty obvious that he was the killer the entire time.
Yep.
Especially when you start off the movie with the same black and white stuff you end with in X.
Yeah.
That her father is on.
Mm-hmm.
Touch right then. This is the dad.
Yeah, it's going to be based all around that. He's so distraught by his daughter being succumbed by the devil.
So he took his time to now become big in Hollywood to eventually lure her to him.
Yeah.
It was taking a little too long, so he started just killing her friends, people she knew vaguely, the actress in the movie that she's in.
Yeah.
To get her ass here.
Yeah.
We're going to end this right now, finally.
Yep.
Didn't like that.
Mm-mm. You hired the PI that got you all the information you needed. Watched your daughter strip.
That was unnecessary.
Little weird when you find out that it was the dad, which you can tell. Like I said outside,
his reaction was too angry.
He rips off a piece of wood, and any other guy would be like, "Hell yeah!" It's just like, and then me and Jake had this really fun thought that I'd like to discuss right now.
Okay.
When I said we both kind of hoped that it was who. Or
Wayne.
I for sure said, yeah,
Wayne.
we both hoped it was Wayne.
Yeah.
That would have been cool because, like we had mentioned, even though he got double tapped,
he did.
Plot armor, baby. I would have been okay with plot armor here versus the dad. I don't like the dad's storyline. But he is pissed off because she made it without him and was just willy-nilly left him behind. And then the whole cloak and gloves and not seeing his fate, all that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have known necessarily that this is, years and years and years and years later. The dad looks a little different. But yeah, it would have been so much cooler if it was somehow he survived the Texas porn massacre, as they called it in the newspaper clipping.
Because he was the job. He's like a talent person, which is what Wayne
That's what Wayne
did.
He was a producer and would have found talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made more sense to the whole thing that we were getting, and it would have made a damn near perfect. That would have made this a pretty perfect franchise to me.
I agree.
I dislike the dad as well. I don't like it. It's stupid. Obviously, it was going to happen because they kept showing the tape. I would have been cool with just the tape, and then just knowing that she was kind of like disappointing her family by being who she was. That's fine. That's character building in itself. I don't need him to be the fucking fake Night Stalker. That doesn't make any sense. But somebody that went through a traumatic experience as well as her would have known all of that stuff. The dad knowing it doesn't quite make sense. How did he find the tape? How did he know that she was in Texas? Was this all in I guess it was all in Texas? I don't know.
I think they're all in Texas.
Like from Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a very strong accent. I think it's Texas accent or
it's a southern. Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't make sense why he would have the evidence tape.
No. And no.
And the fact that I guess you know where she lives already and know where she works. Just go get her.
That's what I'm saying. All this smoke and mirrors bullshit was stupid.
Yeah, Torres fucking running around here being a wild man for nothing.
Yeah. For nothing.
What about you? What's the dislike you had?
It's not really the movie. It's Ty West.
What?
Something that I don't understand.
About Ty West?
About what we got.
Okay.
So Maxxxine and Pearl were done at the same time, released roughly 6 months apart. Both solid, great movies.
X and Pearl.
Okay. X and Pearl were shot at the same time. A24 approved Pearl before Maxxxine even wrapped, which is insane. Obviously, he knew what he was going for, the aesthetic he was going for. 2 years, and this is what we get. 2 fucking years, and this is what we get. a little pissed off about that, but
Why?
I feel like because of if we're sitting here and able to create the Wayne theory, we're fucking podcasters, dude.
Well, because the Wayne theory doesn't make sense.
Who gives a fuck? There's way bigger plot armor in horror.
That's why
you can literally wrap it up as plot armor.
Plus, you can't not mention the dad again.
Yeah, you can.
How?
He was never officially mentioned. He was a tape that played because they're in the Bible Belt of Texas. That makes sense.
The movie ends with you knowing that's Maxxine's father.
Yeah, cool.
And that
it shows how far she went away from her family to be a star.
Shows that he's not going to give up until he finds her. So you knew he's going to come up again.
But still, it's just, do you feel like this was 2 years worthy? The actual outcome of Maxxxine. I feel like this seems more rushed than Pearl. Pearl does not seem rushed. I'm not saying it does. But if I was to think which one would have come out 6 months after the other one, I would say Maxxxine coming out 6 months after X visually and storyline and plot makes way more sense. I feel like he had his idea and was just like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. I don't like it, man. It's a lackluster ending to an amazing franchise.
Okay. 3/4 of the movie,
yes,
is very good.
Phenomenal.
The last quarter of it
always circles around to my big complaint.
The last quarter of it does get a little, when you find the dad finally gets her.
Yeah.
Do the little cult thing.
Yep.
About to sacrifice her.
Kills the other actress. She's all dismembered in a suitcase.
I enjoyed that scene, by the way.
That was such a cool scene. See, I told you we'd have other likes.
And I like that the face she's making
is her infamous scream.
Yeah.
I like that it was accidentally found out. Like, he didn't want Maxxxine to know.
She just bumped into it.
She kicked over a suitcase that was full of her body parts, her arm, her leg, and her face.
And I was like,
what a great prosthetic.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The heads they have in this movie are unbelievably good.
At that point, it's like, all right, I guess I got to kill you now.
And it's ironic that they, have a whole scene about how to make one.
Yeah.
And the heads are great.
Yeah. This is how we did it.
You're going to have nightmares because this shit sucks, but it's the best outcome. Yeah, that cult shit, I did like. So I was wondering this, when that whole thing happens, because Maxxine's followed by the detectives. Because this is after Leon died, and the cops are really honing in on her, which makes sense because she is a focal point. They're she's either doing this or knows who is, which makes sense because it's all people close to her, and she doesn't seem that distraught by it at all.
She's not getting involved.
She's very numb by it.
She doesn't
want to help at all. She's like, why do I want to help?
I'm on the fast
They should
track.
be able to save themselves. What a line. What a line.
Then she realizes
that was a dumb fucking line.
Kind of shitty. Let me go fucking help.
Yeah.
And she has the address.
Yes, which she threw away, then unfolds. Yes. Yeah. Which takes her to the producer from out of town's house.
Yeah.
Gets into the tussle with Daddy. I understand her not having the drop on him because it is her dad, and it probably had been so long. I'm happy they didn't go with the whole she succumbed to him thing.
Yeah.
Ugh. I would have really hated this fucking movie if that's the route it went. So, nod to you there, Ty West. Because for a half a second, when she kind of looks defeated, I'm like, no.
Don't you do it.
Don't you fucking do it. Because a lot of times that's how a movie like this could end.
Yeah.
She's, you know what? You're right. I've gone completely off the rails. I've done porn for 10 years. I'm begging for stardom.
Last time you saw her, she was a kid.
Yeah. So that's rough. And then there's that whole people yearn for their parents' approval shit, which a lot of us understand.
Yeah.
Happy they didn't go that route. Were her hands not free when she's getting strangled by the bag? Rip the mouth hole open, sweetheart.
That never happens.
Just rip the fucking mouth hole open, man.
I was motioning like this.
I was going dude, I was sitting there like this. Fuck it. Hook and rip.
They never did.
They're
in such a panic.
Yeah, it's pure panic. Then she wakes up tied up to a pole, and he gives the whole plot. You are going to be a star because you're going to be in my movie, and you're going to be either a martyr of your cause or repent for your sins and let us live happily ever after with saving all of the kids in the Hollywood. It plays heavily on the whole Hollywood fucking with, young adults and women.
Yeah.
Which is, that's real. But the whole devil, I can never fucking think of the satanic panic. Fuck, yes, that's what it's called.
There you go.
The satanic panic that was going on post, like, late 70s to this point. Like, basically, X to this, the satanic panic was taking over these humble little white Christian folk. Then the shootout with the cops, that's what I was getting at. The cops follow her and wait the perfect amount of time. It's like the first time in horror cop history that they wait the perfect amount of time.
It was literally the perfect time
for him to hop out there and be fucking guns blazing.
Yeah.
Torres is like, you better fucking stop. Just aggressive as always. Just starts laying him down, dude. Dude, man, turns with a shotgun, bah, bah, just gets at it. Cool little cop sequence. Maxxxine had the switchblade. She cuts herself free. Bullets are literally going off around her head. And we'll circle back to this point. So remember this point, everyone. Then the chase pursues. You find Torres shot. He got. He dies. Worst death of the movie. Then the lady cop, who was a pretty good cop, comes out with a crucifix in her eye and says, I got him. But then tumbles down the Hollywood mountain. Dead. Gotta be dead. Then a helicopter comes right over Maxxxine and the dad. The dad shot. He's gonna die. There's no way he's gonna live.
No.
He's hit multiple times in the chest region. Kind of like Torres was. And she got the sawed-off shotgun from the shootout earlier. She knows her way around a boomstick.
Yeah.
And the helicopter goes, Maxxxine, don't do it. Drop your weapon.
I hated that.
You hated that. I took it as everybody does truly know. And those cops are probably of age. They're watching porn. And they're like, that's my boo. Please don't do anything because we want some more movies from you. We can't go back to the VHS store and rent yours for the 15th time.
I mean, so she's already famous.
She's famous. Everybody knows her. Which kind of does it, disservice slightly. She just wanted superstardom. I get that. Then we get fucking 2 alternate endings. Not quite sure why we got all that.
Alternate endings?
Just like dream sequences of hers.
What was the dream sequence?
That she was like on the walk and the movie was a humongous success and she's signing all the shit and she's getting interviewed being the savior of this. That was all fake. None of that happened.
What?
Because she comes back too and is like, I'm going to shoot this fucking guy in the head. Yeah, none of that happened. That was all her mind deciding why she's going to shoot him in the face. Which to me, the opposite would have happened. If she shot him in the fucking face, the cops told her to drop what? What's wrong? Did I say something?
That wasn't real?
No. Because the end of the movie, she is getting a round of applause from the cast and crew, being like, we think this is going to be a success. And then she goes to the premiere. That shit where she's like a superstar that did not happen.
You're sure?
Now, when Carlo and her are talking at the very end when she's blonde, that's real.
I thought it was all real.
That shit wasn't real yet. That was her making the decision that this is how I'm going to get that. And it's shooting her dad's face off.
I mean, she didn't have to shoot him to get that, though.
I know. It's a dislike for me.
I don't think that was a dream.
It wasn't. Why would it come back to that scene then?
It just hadn't happened yet.
Which makes it a dream.
No.
Because why would it zoom in on her face, holding the shotgun, and then that sequence happen, and then come back to, and then she's like, bow, and then it cuts to her being in the circle of everybody, and they're like, you're going to be a fucking star.
Okay. Well,
you're going to be a star.
So my thought process was, it cuts to her holding the gun, zooms in on her face. It shows you what happens. She does become a major star. Now, not a movie star yet, but famous because they mentioned that her talking about taking down her father.
Yeah.
Who was behind all these kills. So in order to get to that point, which has already happened, it just shows you what happened first. That's how I took it as.
Okay.
That's how I took it.
That might be right too.
It shows you, her taking down her father, and then she becomes famous from that. which solidifies her getting the role in the movie she was already in, being now the major star since her dad killed the original major star.
Yeah.
And to get to that point, she kills him. So,
Yeah.
So then it shows you how we got there.
Okay.
That's how I took it.
Okay. That's a good point. I just thought it was a dream sequence. Yeah. Either way, it works.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the plot really.
It doesn't change.
She should have died.
It doesn't change. It's not a good ending.
No.
Either
She should
way.
have died. But why I said we should circle back to when she's cutting herself down, she should have died then.
Yeah,
The whole rundown
fun.
with the dad, crossfire, like none of that. She should have died like when the cops got there.
Yeah.
She should have been killed by her father and then would have been infamous for that.
Yeah. Which was
Not famous.
Which was
infamous.
My thought going into it. Yeah.
Yeah. We thought she was going to die, and that's what made her so famous.
Yeah.
But nope, she becomes famous by being famous,
Yeah.
being a badass. I also really hated "To God Be the Glory" when she's sitting with Giancarlo at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
In the interview. So I thought your whole thing. I thought your whole vibe here was like not that.
True.
That's why like you didn't want Daddy to win,
But
and
then
you
again,
ran away from Daddy.
That quote she kept repeating and had him repeat with her right before
Also
she killed him.
hated that. I was tired of that line.
Yeah.
You get the life you deserve, or some shit. I hate it. And we heard it 5 times.
I will not accept the life I do not deserve.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. And but a couple people oohed when he got shot in the face, but we've all seen that 1,000 times. It's nothing that you haven't seen in a fucking war movie or face smashing scene. Yeah, I didn't like, and that's how it ends. Maxxine becomes a star because she killed her dad, and gives God the glory.
Maybe she's saying it ironically.
I think she's saying it so that her stardom is untouched by anyone. Even the Bible thumpers are going to be like, she came around. God be the glory. I honestly feel like that's why she did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Favorite kill? We only have like 2, 3, 4.
Favorite kill, I'm going to say, is Kevin Bacon's character.
Nice.
That's my favorite kill.
Nice.
What about you?
Leon, 100%.
Okay.
Liked it. Liked the whole sequence. All right. On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel about Maxxine?
On a scale from 1 to 10, Maxxine's an 8.
Now I'm going to ask you a follow-up.
Okay.
On a scale from 1 to 10,
Uh-huh.
how is the X franchise?
Wow, that's a
Yep.
good question.
Yep.
Um,
Because it's over now, so.
the franchises in whole,
Pearl, X, Maxxine, whole
From-
story.
from 1 to 10,
Yep.
I would say overall is an 8.5.
Wow, so it's higher than Maxxine. The
Yeah.
entire franchise.
Correct. Because I love
Yeah,
X. I
yeah.
gave X an 8.7, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I enjoyed Pearl after rewatching it again.
Yeah.
My least favorite
Is
of the franchise, I think, is tough. X is number 1, obviously.
yeah.
At this current moment, I would go X, Pearl, Maxxine.
Okay, nice. We haven't rewatched it, so maybe it could change later on
Yeah.
down the road. But yeah, okay. So on a scale from 1 to 10 for the movie itself, I'm going an 8.5 as well.
Okay.
On a scale from 1 to 10 for the franchise, I'm going an 8 because I don't like the completed franchise.
Okay.
I loved X. X is the best. So for me, it's X, Maxxine, Pearl.
Okay.
It sucks saying that on a horror podcast because it's just not horror. I enjoyed the movie more. Like the movie experience of Maxxine was better for me.
Okay.
So I know in a horror podcast, it's like, oh, I should probably give it to Pearl. Pearl's fine. It's stressful. It's great acting and shot very well, all that stuff. But I just enjoyed watching Maxxine a lot. So yeah, that's how I'd go. But I had to drop it because I don't like the whole storyline. That's the only reason. It's a solid franchise. I don't think another franchise comes anywhere near it right now. Usually 3 movie ones. The second ones are usually the best, which this case in chronological order is the case, but not in releasing.
Correct.
Yep. Next week, we are going to be discussing
Long legs.
long legs. That's what we're doing. We are covering long legs. Now, let's see if that phone number thing works. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So I might just hold it up because I ain't trying to do all these button pressings here.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know how this here works, son. I have to scroll through my damn picture. I take so many screenshots, dude. Oh my God. It's a billboard?
Billboard, yeah.
All right. Keep the fans entertained while I scroll here, sir.
All right. So, guys, while we wait here, so this weekend, we're going to watch Long Legs, and we're coming for you on Tuesday. And now we have the phone number.
All right. Here we go. 455. Nope. 458. 666. 4355.
Let's see what we got here.
Little angel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That was I got goose. That was creepy.
That was creepy.
I didn't like that. Ladies and gentlemen, like he said, next week, Long Legs. What day are we going to see it? We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll figure it
out. Yes, we're excited to bring that to you guys. If you have any suggestions or anything, please let us know in the comments. Or you can go to our website, www.jsquaredhorrorpodcast.com. Huge shout out, as always, to our main supporters, Lucky Riggs, who does our intro and outro music. Jeff Balance, who does our design work. Anything you see between us on YouTube, anything you see on our J Squared Horror merchandise, or anything you see on our logos, that is all done by Jeff Balance. If you need any graphic design work, please let us know. We'll get you in contact with Mr. Jeff Balance himself. A humongous shout out to Mr. Jake Devine for not only being my best friend, a great host, and going to see movies with me in public is pretty cool. Thank you, bud.
No problem.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
You guys have a great week, and always remember, it's hip to be squared.